Today on Down with Dedee, my mom will be having a conversation with Maurice Bernard.
Maurice, thank you for coming on my show. I'm so excited
Thank
to
you
have
for
you.
having me.
So now you had me on your show, and that's where we met.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes, it was fantastic.
It was super
It was-
fun. You have the fancy show where I went and showed up in your house. You had the lights and all that. I'm doing it Zoom. I'm doing it like budget. I'm doing.
Well, a lot of people do Zoom. That's the thing. I just said I'm going to do it this way, and it was difficult in the beginning. Now I got a new studio, so
Oh well, when this launches, maybe you can have me back and we can talk about
yeah,
you being
I'd
on
love
here.
to.
Well,
'Cause
because you know I'm all about recovering out loud. And
yes,
this podcast is a result of what one can do in recovery. When you decide one day that I have a story, I'm not my story, right? And the minute I realized in rehab that I have a story, I'm not my story, was when I started to say, wait a minute, I have a lot more control over my life than I ever thought, even though, I have a lot of other things as well, not just
yeah,
not just an addiction. There's mental health and there's PTSD. I'm loaded with a lot of stuff, but it's like, damn, what are you going to do with your soul in this body in this lifetime? I'm going to ask you that question. What are you doing with this body, with that beautiful soul of yours in this lifetime, Maurice?
well, for me, it's all about mental health.
Right.
So I've been speaking about mental health for 30 years. I was actually on Oprah when Sinead O'Connor was on Oprah. Same
Oh,
time. I didn't meet her because it was different, but we're on the same show and talking about bipolar. And I haven't stopped talking about mental health, but it seems like the pandemic is the only thing that's kind of changed everything
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
in a good way and in a bad way.
Yes.
The bad way is people don't no longer want to be on this earth. And the good thing is so much awareness.
Right.
I mean, when I did it 30 years ago on Oprah, I was on twice. It didn't really, it was kind of the same. Nothing really changed. But the pandemic did change it, which is it's good. And
I
that's
agree.
my way of not just being an actor, because to me, acting, I don't want to get into that, but mental health is important.
Well, I always like to say I like to use my celebrityness to help people
Yes.
on other levels, right? It's a way to be able to help on a larger scale. And for that I'm really grateful. I love that you're recovering out loud as well with mental health. And like you said, there was a time where you talked about it, maybe people weren't ready to listen, right? I'm at that cusp as well. Because, like you said, during the pandemic, a lot of people left their earth bodies for lots of reasons, mental health, addiction, what have you. Actually, if you really want to look at the stats, we lost a
Yeah.
lot more people from mental health and addiction than we actually did from COVID, which I am not taking anything away from everyone who we lost from COVID.
Of course.
But because they all exist in the same universe, we've got some heavy stuff going on in the world. So for me to try to inspire people to embrace, like you said, the light, the positive energies around us, we kind of have to get back to the brass tacks of what mankind's supposed to be here for. What are we here for? Are we here to make money? Is that it? Are we here to be a power, ego, all that? I don't think it's that. That's where we're pushing back. People are
Yeah.
pushing back on stuff that's just simply not fair. And it's not healthy, right? And does it really make you a good person when you give into that? No. So
No.
we're trying to maneuver this really tough time in this world, isn't it? Like,
Yeah, because I'm doing another a state of mind on this too, but I don't know what the fix is. The only thing I know is to do what you're doing and what I'm doing, which is talking about it
right.
and putting it out there and giving your guts and heart in what the story is. And then other people go, oh, that okay, so it's all right to talk. Because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of, for a long time, people just keep everything inside. Was the same way, right?
Yep, me too.
And
Yep.
right, but now I'm so much of an open book. I embarrass myself.
Me too. My kids are like, "Do you have to tell the waiter all about everything, Mom?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, I kind of do. Just order your damn salad and let's just zip it, zipper."
Right. I know, it's crazy, man.
But I think that that's what's so beautiful. We have choices in our lifetime what we want to do with our time. And time is precious. And I got to tell you, people who've had near death experiences, people like you who have leaned into their disabilities, me too, when we lean into them and we say, well, is this going to break us or is this going to
Yeah,
make us? And some people, it will break them. So, okay, that's their journey. And my heart breaks for that. But I do believe the more we keep speaking about it, the more we keep showing people the way it looks. This is what you, like you're saying, your mental health issues. This is what you did. You created a podcast where you bring people on, they talk about it. People not feeling alone is incredibly important. There's the S word,
that's right.
support. Support
That's
is
right.
huge. It takes a village. I'm sorry, as much as I'd like to think I can do it by myself. I don't need any help.
No,
Good luck with that. Okay.
yeah,
Good luck with that. I was that person, by the way. That's old school. That's my dad, and by the way, we also never addressed, and if you cried or you showed emotions or you showed that it hurt, you were weak if you cried, all that, right? And what I, of course, now discovered at 59, hitting 60, that it's like, wow, I have to constantly every day remind myself that that way of thinking is wrong. You
wrong.
know,
Yes,
it's just backwards and it's wrong and no judgment. It's just not helpful, right? Don't beat myself up for it. It's the way I was classically conditioned as a child, that if it hurts, you pick yourself up, brush off the dirt and say it didn't hurt and keep going, right? And that's how they used to survive back then. But now we know a little better. We know more. And we say, well, hold on. Yeah, sometimes you're going to have to get up and brush it off and go. But then when it's quiet, it's okay to lean into it, right?
yes.
Lean into it.
I even have a State of Mind T-shirt that says, "Tears are your strength."
Did you hear that when you cry, you release cortisol, extra cortisol that your body does
That
not need, which is supposedly, yeah.
I
Cortisol
didn't
is,
know that.
yeah. So can I have your t-shirt, please?
Yeah,
Thank you. I'll wear it on the
the
show.
reason that happened is I was crying once, tears were coming down, and I felt strong.
Yes.
So I said, it's not like we were taught, like he said.
No.
This is
You remind me of my dad, very handsome, strong man, great voice, all of that persona. And my dad was not able ever to show any vulnerability until he was dying of cancer in the hospital, so fucked up on morphine. And the good and bad thing about it was it took him, because God knows when he was drinking and active in his disease, that wasn't him. And when he was withdrawing the next morning from having been hungover from drinking all day the next,
yeah.
that also wasn't him. And when I actually met my real dad was when he was high on morphine. and
Wow.
and I that's and yet I but oh, here we go. Maurice, I don't think I've done this on the show. Oh my God. I think he's with me right now, my dad.
Yeah.
I know my dad's helping me every day stay sober. I know my dad, because he didn't get it right in this lifetime. And cancer took him, I think, way too early. He never also could be as amazing as I know he could have been. People like you are doing that, right? People like me are
Yeah.
saying, hold on, the buck stops here. We can show the new generation. Life can throw you shitballs, but what
Yeah.
you gonna do with that shitball, baby?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? It's
Yeah.
not about being thrown a shitball or not. It's gonna happen. That's called life. It's what you're gonna do with it.
Yeah.
And looking at you and this amazing, beautiful man, and for those of you who are listening to this podcast and not looking at him, if you know what the man looks like, he's a beautiful, strong looking man. But yet the vulnerability that you're able to tap into, by the way, is very sexy to women. Ask your wife. I bet you she loves you more
More.
in those
Yeah.
moments when you're able to say, wow, that hurt, and the tears come.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you're
There's
showing us that.
I think we might have talked about this, maybe not. There's something that I say a lot, but it's important. During the pandemic, I was ready to go, every day for about 4 months. figuring out how I was going to do that. And I'd go into my wife and I'd say, I can't go another day. And she'd look at me and says, you were stronger than you know. And then she'd say, 100 times you've said you can't go on, and 100 times you've gone on. And that's the beauty of making the impossible possible. You know, we all think we can't, but we can. That's the bottom line.
And you know what's beautiful about what you just said? You had someone so special in your life to remind you of that.
Yeah.
To remind, you're right. 100 times you said, because we focus on that this is yet another time that I feel like I can't make it.
Yeah.
We right? We micro focus on that. But she had to remind you, yeah, you've been here 100 times, but 100 times you've gotten through it.
Yeah.
And that is the part we really need to focus on, because the other is just not helpful. And the sad part is the other can actually take you to the light too soon.
Exactly.
Yeah,
because you can't stop it.
It's a loop. It's a spiral,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And this is a really important part of, I think, mental health that is not talked about enough. Who do you have around you in your camp to remind you, yes, to acknowledge what you're saying? No one's going to take that away from you. Listen, you're having a shitty day and you don't want to fucking be here. Okay, I give that to you, but I'm also going to ask you to remember, how many times have you been here? And how many times have you gotten through that fucking day, that bitch of a day?
Yeah.
Because those both exist.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that to me says we need more to teach people more of what a survival plan looks like. Who do you reach out to? How do you, right? Who are you going to allow into your life to throw you that lifeline? Because once you isolate, you and I both know isolation is a killer.
Yeah.
Because all you have is you and your mind. And your mind often is not always your friend.
No.
Right?
You got to figure it out, though. You got to figure it out.
You need someone else to remind you that your thoughts right now are not very helpful. They're true, they're real, and I'm going to give them to you. But they're also, in addition to your thoughts, they're also not helpful and they're working against you. And I'm here to remind you of that. So how do we expose people to someone like that in your life if you don't have a therapist who even knows about this? Or, sorry, it's a weekend, I'm out on a boat, I can't help you with that, call a 911. And by the way, don't call 911 if you're having these issues, because I do believe we now have other ways. I think they're now giving mental health emergency numbers now.
Yeah.
Because God bless the officers that protect us. They're not equipped to help with mental health issues.
Yeah, it's tough.
But they are there to make sure that the guy who's got a gun and who's in your backyard doesn't blow away your dog or you.
Yeah.
That's what they're there for, but not mental health issues. Yeah.
You need professionals.
Yeah. And I say that with love, because law enforcement are doing the best that they can. The ones that are good. Yeah, the ones that are good. Absolutely.
Yeah. I just found, you got to figure out how to get some tools, right? Like I just had another thing a month ago. And I was thinking, oh shit, not again, I got too much going on. I can't have this. So I got through it in 5 days. But the way I got through it is I would go out to my gazebo, and I got a pond, and there's nature, and it's beautiful, and it was quiet, and I'd listen to Eckhart Tolle and Deepak Chopra.
Love them.
About anxiety. And I just did. I mean, I've known them, I've listened to them but as you get older, you realize you learn, you're getting it better as you get older, right? So I listened and I did and boy, I sat in the anxiety. I didn't run. It's hard, but I did it, and I got through it in 5. And it could have gotten me, but I didn't let it.
I love that it didn't get you, because boy, would you be missed.
Yeah. Well, in this situation, it wasn't like the pandemic where I had suicidal thoughts, but it was more like, it was weird, man. It was like I was I might have told you about first, second gear, third gear. That's the way I think about this anxiety or, stuff, where you have to stay in first, second gear. You can go to third, don't go to fourth, definitely don't go to 5th or 6th or whatever. So during the pandemic, I was in like 7. It's over.
Yeah.
I needed professional help and medication. But this one was about a 3 going to 4, but I didn't let it. So I got through it. It was great. So now what happens is when you get through this stuff, you just have to feel more proud of yourself that you have a tool. So it's that's it. Now I feel like, come on, Freddy Krueger, come play with me. I can.
I love that because I just had my friend Meg on. I'm not sure if this is going to air before and after that. My friend Meg, she's only in her 40s, very young. She beat cancer once, not once, twice, not twice, 3 times. Oh, hold on, we're not done here. I'm like the Ronco guy with the fishing pole. She beat cancer 4 times. She beat that bitch 4 times, and I said,
Wow.
"What the hell, girl? How in the hell?" And she's just like, I was not done in this lifetime. I had to wait.
Wow.
And I thought, wow, but it's her thoughts that made her say, I'm not done here. And but your thoughts are the opposite. I'm out of here. We have to remember that, oh, okay, that is a thought. And damn it, I need to go in my little toolbox like you were talking about. And it might be taking your shoes off and standing on the ground, not the floor, but the ground outside. Grass, dirt, sand, what, I don't care. Put your feet on the ground. Mother Earth is vibrations and we are vibrations. And
That's right.
she will heal you, not completely, but she'll help you get to that level. Like you said, maybe gear it down a little bit.
Yes.
So you can breathe and listen. Maybe listen to the birds and just go, wow, wait a minute.
Right.
Do I really want to leave my body? Do I really want to not listen to the birds ever again? Do I really not want to ever see my wife ever again? Do I really ever not want to smell chocolate chip cookies baking or whatever, whatever
Right.
that is? Do I really not want to feel a hug ever again? Generally, the answers are no, you do want those things. What you want is the pain to stop.
Yes, that's it.
And that's different, my friend. Leaving your body, your senses, all your experiences is true suicidal thoughts. And I absolutely recommend you call anybody at that point. But otherwise, what generally is going on, you just want the pain to stop or the anxiety to stop kneecapping you.
Both. Yeah.
And once you can differentiate that, there are tools that can help you.
Yeah.
But you're right. You lean into that bitch. You lean into it and say, come on, mother, let's go. You get through it quicker. It doesn't take you out, but running from it can absolutely take you out. Running from it is what will hurt you. And yet that's our tendency, is to run from that shit, right?
Yeah.
Drink it away, drug it away, isolate it away, all the things that are no.
That's why I'm so glad that I didn't get into drinking or drugs or something, because it would have been too much.
I agree. Can I ask you a question?
Vito.
Hey, is that your puppy? What's his name?
His name's Vito. He's an English bulldog.
Oh, Vito. Are we going to see him? Do you believe in the paranormal or the supernatural at all? Yes or no, and why?
Well, is the paranormal, is that like, because my son last night put The Exorcist, there's a trailer of The Exorcist, and that traumatized me when I was young.
I know, me too.
like when I had a nervous breakdown, they put me in the mental hospital. I said I was The Exorcist.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I spit on the doctors, and it was bad.
Now, were you conscious of doing that, or do you really feel that something took over your body?
That's a great question, man. I can't even. I think it's my own mind that conjured it up, but I do believe in God and the devil and all that.
Uh-huh.
Now, as far as ghosts, I guess I do believe in that also.
Well, I tell people you can have your religion and your God, and you can also believe in another life form. What do you think about what's going on right now with all these sightings with the UAPs and all that? Because hi puppy, I'm very much into all of that because I've had my own personal paranormal experiences. And I'm sorry, I know that the minute it happened to me, I thought, okay, my kids are literally going to go, okay, she's gone bat crazy. My family's going to go, oh God, here we go.
I believe in that too.
Yeah, when you have one of these experiences, you go, oh my God, this shit's real.
I think one time I did see like a UFO flying into the sky late at night, but
did it scare you, or did you kind of go, oh, did it skip your heartbeat?
Yeah, of course.
It's
because it
exciting,
didn't
isn't
look
it?
anything like, like it wasn't that.
Right. See, this is what's weird. People don't, yeah, I love your smile on your face right now. What people don't realize that when you actually spot something that is not a drone, it's not a government thing, because they behave really different than
Yeah.
anything that we have, un unless it's remote controlled. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even then, that suck, right? I know what you're saying. You see it, you
Yeah.
go, did I just witness that?
I
Million,
remember it too. Yeah. I was
look
a
at your
kid.
face.
It was cool. I liked it.
Yeah, look at your face. I love it. You're like all smiley. I have to say, when I ask people this, almost everyone at this point has had some kind of sighting or something. And then when they talk about it, they smile. No one ever said, "Oh, I was scared." And I don't know quite know why the government and everyone else or movies are telling us to be scared of things
Yeah.
that are different than us. I'm like, hey, these are neighbors upstairs, neighbors down deep in the oceans. Come on. Let's go. Let's
Yeah.
party. Let's get it together.
Let's have a party.
Let's have a party. Listen, the way I see it is they're far more intelligent than us. Then I want to be friends with those cats, okay?
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
think that some people on this earth are not so smart when they're doing some of the things that they're doing to
Right.
Mother Earth. So I say bring in some neighbors who know how to help fix us or save us from ourselves. Right? Somebody's got to save us from ourselves. And if it's these little guys, fine. I don't care if they're aquatic or the grays or the reptilians. Bring them on, babe.
I don't care either.
I don't
Yeah.
care. Just do it, man. Maurice, other than your dog behind you, who I'm sure you want to be reincarnated as, oh, excuse me, sir, is he talking back to me? My dog's talked back to me. Oh,
Vito, come.
come here, Booba. Let's get him on there. Let's get him on the camera.
He's cute as hell, dude.
Oh, I bet he is.
Vito,
What animal would you like to
tell
be
me if you can see
reincarnated
him.
as?
Do you see him?
Oh my God, he is so cute. Oh, is he behind a baby gate?
Do you see this guy?
Oh my God, yeah, look at his. Oh my God. Are those his teeth or are those just white marks?
Those are his teeth. He's a puppy. He's like 11 months. He's half white, half black.
He's so substantial.
Uh,
I love him.
So what I'd like to come back as is a hawk,
Well, I think you're the third person that said that this week. Why a hawk?
because I just love to be able to, I always see hawks as like sign. It's a sign of something when they're
Mm,
flying up there, and they seem so free, and they're also tough. So they're not going to get beat up by anything, because they're not like little birds that another bird can come and they just, when they're flying, man, they just seem so happy.
it's true. They're so majestic and free and beautiful. And don't they make you stop and breathe and look at them?
I love it, man. I love hawks.
That would be great to be reincarnated as something that people stop.
Yeah.
Well, those who are enlightened, anyways. Those who are too busy. It's like, I'm sorry, I have an appointment. I have to go. I can't look at that hawk. Wow, how sad.
Yeah, I can't.
Stop and look at
I
the hawk.
take,
Yeah, stop and look at the hawk. Come on.
one time my buddy who was murdered, my best friend of all time, and I went out to this chair that I had to see my view, and I was in bad shape because he just got killed.
I'm sorry.
And a hawk came flying, then two hawks came flying, and then three hawks. I've never seen three hawks, man, at the same time. And I know that was him. And I said, wow, that's cool. I just watched these three hawks, man.
I'm telling you, most people would say, oh, it's a coincidence, it's this and that, and I say, that's okay. If it makes you feel better to explain that stuff away, knock yourself out. But to not try to find meaning in things anymore in life, to me is a very shallow,
I agree.
superficial, linear way to look at life. Look at those hawks, and never have you experienced that before. Why can that not be in conjunction with the great loss of a soul that had
Yeah.
such a significant presence in your life? And
Yeah.
if that made you feel something positive, why write that off?
I
Oh,
know.
are you afraid? You know what it is? People are afraid to sound crazy, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I say, join the crazy party. Come at our table because we're having a lot more fun living over here. Okay.
And also, I think I've come to realize that some people they just don't have that sensitivity.
Right.
It doesn't make them bad
No,
or anything.
no.
They just, you, me, were extremely sensitive.
Yeah.
That's probably the reason that I've gone through what I've gone through, because my sensitivity is too strong. I can't take it. But some people, like you said, if you say, look at the hawk, they're like, oh, yeah. And you're like, damn. But they're cool. They're cool people. They're good.
It's so true. And here's an example. I'll leave you with this, which is interesting because you and I on Instagram yesterday talked about bare feet. I walked out to, there you go. I'm not going to show you mine because I have baboon feet right now. Okay. I'm not gonna lie. I went down and said, oh, Dedee, those are, but yes, I'm barefoot. I walked out to empty the trash with my older son, who's 21, and it's straight up the driveway with rocks and all sorts of stuff. And I came out with my bare feet because I went to go put my sandals on. I said, no, I'm going to go out. And I'm kind of going slow because the rocks. And he goes, Mom, here, take my sandals. I said, no, it's okay. And he goes, no, really, you'll go faster if you put my sandals on. And I thought, boy, that was a very telling statement. And I said, that's true. But you know what else would happen? That rubber or whatever is going to separate me from Mother Earth, who right now is going to give me some energy while walking to empty the trash with just making contact with her to walk to the trash. Yes, I got to watch out for the stones, and those don't feel so good. That also makes you feel alive, is when you step on a stone or a rock. That makes you feel alive. And all of a sudden, what you're thinking goes out the door when you go, ow, what is it? All of a sudden, whatever you were thinking, when actor strike, ow, that really hurt. What was that? That thought went out your mind, right? So he looked at me and he got really quiet. And normally my sons like to make fun of my craziness, but he kind of got quiet. I said, no, it feels nice to go a little slower, make contact with Mother Earth while emptying the smelly trash. And he walked alongside of me and he kind of just got really quiet. And I thought, I think he actually heard me. I think that may have hit. He was just in a moment in a time and space where it kind of went in. Otherwise, remember with these kids, it goes right through and hits the wall behind him. They're very busy boys. Very busy boys. Had to get back to his video game, right? But I thought this one somehow, I think, landed. All you can do is present, right, all this stuff, and it will land with people or not. I call it plant the seed and run. Run, plant the seed and run.
Yeah.
And hope that it grows.
100%. 100%.
Maurice, was there anything else you'd like to add to my podcast?
No, I think we covered some good stuff now.
Yeah.
And I'll call you when I move into my new studio. We'll do it again.
Yes, we'll do it again. Can I do it though with your dog on my lap? Because I really love your dog.
I just did the thing. This other Road Dogs is a rescue that I got him from. She came in here with dogs on her lap, and then somebody else came in.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah, I have a 2.0, Down with Dedee 2.0 that I'm attaching to my podcast that has to do with animal welfare. And I'm hooked up with a great group of people who are out there really trying to do all these beautiful things.
Good.
Helping beluga whales, the chimps, the lab chimps. Way Station 2.0, just doing a lot of stuff, and I get to be working with them and give them a lot of light, because I think it's really important, especially now more than ever. And I'll leave you with this note, that although the news and the information that we're receiving is pretty hateful, ugly, and dark, and it seems like we should just give up and get the fuckets, is what I call it, the fuckets, the why bother. Remember, it's so important to pair all of that with positive information and positive facts. There are a lot of people in the world right now trying to make a difference. There are a lot of people who are part of the solution. And it's really important that any way we can bring light to them, because otherwise people are just going to give up. And then we're in big trouble, right?
I agree.
Yeah. And you, my friend, are part of the solution. And I adore you.
Thank you, honey. Thank you.
Thank you will you give your wife a big hug for me? Your sexy wife with the boots? Okay.
All right.
Have a beautiful day. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
For more information on today's guest, check out the show notes below or visit our website at www.downwithdedee.com.